society rewards sexiness, beauty, looking lean, looking good, but the expense that it costs, whether that's will be mental, physical, spiritual, just draining you of life, is something that's not talked about. I can show you my own success, but it doesn't show one element that's missing, and there's a dark side to all of this.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling. I'm on to lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside, snow is falling and friends are calling you.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's Christine with Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer, and today I'm going to talk about the dark side of my health and fitness journey. So let's get started. All right, guys, so this is a little bit of a different video than I typically do, and I'm just going to kind of freestyle this video and talk at the camera and share some of my experiences, because I think it's really great that I can come on here. I can give you guys the tools you need to reach your goals. I can give you guys the science. I can give you guys all of that. I can show you guys success stories. I can show you guys people who've done it. I can show you in the process of me coaching people doing it. I can show you my own success. But all of that is great, but it doesn't show one element that's missing. And there's a dark side to all of this. And I think that if any of you may be struggling with some of these things I'm going to talk about very candidly, I think it will help some of you rest a little easier knowing that I struggle with these things too. Several people struggle with these things, and I just want to just put it all out there. So here we go. As you guys know, if you've been following me for some time, a little bit about my health and fitness journey. I've never really been overweight. I did track and cross country in high school, did some marathons through my early 20s, and began to pick up weight training in my late 20s, got into bikini competitions, and then got into coaching and whatnot. However, there comes a point where I've done so many competitions, I've been doing this for so long now, that once you reach your goal and you reach it repeatedly over and over and over again, I know exactly what to do, all this and that. I think that for me, and other people can, speak to this for themselves, but for me, part of my passion for fitness and food got lost along the way when I was pursuing my bikini competition goals. Part of me still tosses the idea around in my head of competing again, because I miss the challenge, I miss the structure, I miss the regimen, I miss this has to get done no matter what, because it pushes me, it drives me. I like that. Part of me kind of needs that extra push. But throughout that process, I remember one year I competed so much that I probably was on prep for like at least 10 out of 12 months of this one year. And during that time, I completely lost all passion for food. I lost passion for fitness. And it sounds crazy because I was still doing it, but I was doing it because I had to. It didn't become like an enjoyable thing. It wasn't like, oh wow, that felt really good to sweat it out and just kind of have me time. It was just like, it became like a job. It became like I had to do this. It wasn't like I want to do this. And obviously there's a bit of that comes with discipline. You are gonna have to do things you don't want to always do, but when it just gets to the point where I was eating, my tilapia and my asparagus and my rice like again and again and again, I didn't even like care or get excited about my food. It can be tough. I think that if you are like me, I have a tendency to be an extremist. I have a tendency to be black and white about things. It's either you're all in or you're all out. And, if you're a very project-oriented person, you may be able to understand that. And achieving balance can be very challenging once you've reached such big goals. And part of something that people don't talk about is body dysmorphia. This is a really serious thing I want to talk about, because I have so many people who talk to me about their bodies, who see things that literally do not exist. So when I say body dysmorphia, after every fitness competition I've ever done, I would allow myself a little bit of time to just kind of eat off menu, eat intuitively, so to speak. And as I have done that, I recall so many times, whether it was a photo shoot, whether it was a contest prep or whatnot, looking at myself after a couple days of like eating more freely and just being like, dang, you got so big, or thinking to myself, geez, you don't look tight anymore. And in hindsight, looking back on that, because clearly I'm bigger now than I was at that time, it gives you a really skewed perspective of what you look like. I know some bodybuilders personally who, after a competition, after the water weight goes back on, and even after just like a weekend of just, essentially binging, I know bodybuilders who have gained as much as 20 pounds in 72 hours.
20 pounds in 72 hours.
I know male physique competitors who have gained as much as 10 pounds in 48 hours post-show. Myself personally, the most I've ever gained post-show in a short amount of time was probably in the 5 to 7 pound range, mostly water weight, but some of it's just salt, some of it's just additional food intake. And that backlash can be like depressing, and you feel like crap. And you feel out of control for a little bit because it's very challenging to dial that all back in and keep a consistent, stable mindset through that. And people don't talk about this. I've seen a lot of ugly things in that process. I've seen everything from fitness competitors abusing steroids, everything from fitness competitors abusing their bodies in just terrible ways from, I've seen people throwing up backstage. I've seen people smoking to suppress their appetite. I've seen people doing it all, and nobody talks about it because if you look good, therefore you're healthy. Sometimes it's very frustrating when all our society rewards is aesthetics. All of our society reward beauty. Society rewards sexiness, beauty, looking lean, looking good. But the expense that it costs, whether that toll be mental, physical, spiritual, just draining you of life, is something that's not talked about. I did this video a few months ago where I talked to you guys about the fact that I've gained 20 pounds and that's above my stage weight, where I may not look as lean as I have in the past. However, I have gained so much more with respect to quality of life, with respect to balance, with respect to self-love, with respect to just no longer pushing my body to its ultimate limits. While that's good, you guys, that's great. There are good things with that. There's nothing wrong with having goals, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I just think that it can take a really harsh toll on one's body and one's mindset and one's psyche if you put all of your confidence in your ability to look a certain way. And this is why I'm really big on non-scale victories, and I continue to encourage my clients to celebrate non-scale victories, meaning things that have nothing to do with how you look, but things that have more to do with how you feel, establishing a good habit, feeling good about yourself, being consistent, choosing a better habit or behavior as a result of living a healthy life. And I think that the fitness industry needs to have more of a focus on rewarding and continuing to stay mindful of mindset and overall mental health as one seeks their health and fitness goals. Body dysmorphia comes in all shapes and sizes. It happens to men, it happens to women. You can have a six-pack and still think you look fat. I know people who legit have six-packs and call themselves fat. And I know they may say it like in a joking manner or in jest, but part of me actually thinks that they actually believe it because they don't look a couple body fat percentage points lower. I know people that just look great that don't think they look great. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that be careful and be mindful, because there's so much more to this life than just looking a certain way. And I think there's nothing wrong with being confident with your body, but I think that body confidence should be at every stage of the journey at any point. If you are a fitness professional and you feel that you have bounced back and you are not as healthy and fit as you once were, I want to encourage you guys and say, you know what? Life happens. You are human. Dial it back in. If you are somebody who is on the journey to a longer term fitness journey, meaning you have a lot more weight to lose, and that's okay. I want to tell you to embrace your body now. I'm not saying don't work on your goals. I'm not saying be unhealthy. I'm not saying it's a permission to eat garbage, but I am saying that it is okay to love yourself as you are as you reach those goals, because just because you reach your goal doesn't necessarily mean you're like mentally gonna have this breakthrough and you're gonna like be this better person because you look a different way. It's not. I know some of the most beautiful, leanest, healthiest looking people on photographs. They're models, whatever. They may look amazing, but that doesn't mean that they are whole inside. That doesn't mean that they are necessarily nice people. It doesn't necessarily mean any of those things. It just means that they were able to get themselves to a certain way. So don't think that hitting your health goals is going to magically make you like yourself more. It's not. So the reason I'm sharing all of this with you guys is because it is a journey, and I have been through so many things, and maybe I'll get into a little bit more. But the moral of the story is that you definitely need to be aware that pursuing your health and fitness goals is a good thing, but it is not the only thing. If you are not whole and one and cool within yourself, being leaner is not going to solve those things. Having breast implants is not going to solve those things. Winning trophies is not going to solve those things. Having 1 million followers with every like on all of your photos is not going to solve those things. So just be aware with all of those things. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be happy. And the expense that it takes to get to those places may not necessarily always be worth it. So be aware, be mindful. Hope this helps somebody. Please comment your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.